Hello again and welcome back to Scott Wonders World. It's a fat ugly one again today on his own. It's Sunday morning. I don't know what the date is. Don't know. Got up this morning and obviously you've had the fight last night. Early hours of what was it late? It would have been last night. Yeah, last night between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua. Obviously, Alexander Usyk 11 months ago took the probably the majority of the belts off of AJ at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in it was a cakewalk, wasn't it? The original, the first fight. AJ didn't really show up. He was, for a guy that was so big, decided to try and outbox probably the pound for pound best boxer on the planet at the moment. If he's not the best, he's certainly second. And yeah, a very, very strange decision on that night from AJ. Paid to watch it, did a watch along on the channel. And just, he didn't really, for a guy that's so big and strong, never really landed anything telling in the whole fight. So I got this morning and decided I'd watch the fight back. I knew that AJ had lost and Usyk had won. But I thought instead of doing the watch along, which I didn't do last night, I refused to pay for it. The price of the pay per views now, that one last night was $26.95. I just couldn't justify the money. I know you could watch it on streams. I know Paul's Beer Reviews did a live watch along last night of it. Yeah, so I've watched it back this morning, and what I've done is I've scored it how I saw it, without knowing. I knew it was a split decision, but I didn't know what the score was. So what I've done is I've watched the fight. I've made some notes on the rounds. So I thought I'd just do something a little bit different. My take on the fight, and then the stuff that went on after it, after the fights. Obviously, for the people that are interested in boxing. Yeah, the stuff that went on after it I thought was just as interesting as the fight itself. Before we go, I'm going to break it down round by round, give my score at the end of the video, not at the end of the fight, and the breakdown of the fight. First and foremost, Joshua was better last night. He did a lot of things better. He got closer. He pressed Usyk at stages. The ninth round was really good for him. The best round that he's had over the two fights. I still just don't think he imposed his size enough. For me, Usyk is, he's a master tactician anyway. He has an ability to control a fight. His bobbing and weaving, his movement from left to right. He is a very, very clever fighter. And I think you could put Joshua in there with him 5 times. I just don't think he would win once. He might land a big lucky shot. But yeah, for me, he's just got his number. So let's look at the rounds individually. Round 1, I've made some notes. It was a slow start to the fight. Usyk used a sort of a prodding jab. AJ was very cautious in the opening round, but he was moving around more. Usyk, his movement is incredible. He must be a nightmare to fight because you're never quite sure where he's going to be, and he does something that's very clever. He throws punches, Usyk, that where he's not where the bloke is, but where he thinks he's going to go. So it must be an absolute terror to try and fight him. AJ landed a couple of body shots. There was a nice jab from Usyk at the end of the round. For work rate alone, I thought Usyk nicked the round. A lot of these rounds, what I found were very, very hard to judge and score. So yeah, Usyk round for me. Round 2, Joshua's came out more positively in the first minute, and he's thrown his jab more. So he's trying his right hand more, sort of trying to sort of land that big punch, or at least know that tell Usyk it's there. Usyk was constantly pouring that jab out, very clever with his jab, Usyk. AJ was in the centre of the ring, moving Usyk around him, so he was taking the centre of the ring. Big right hand to the body. I thought AJ just nicked that round, so one apiece for me. he was more positive in the round than he'd been before, and he was just doing slightly more, and probably the better punches in that round came from AJ, in my opinion. Round three, Usyk is constantly on it. I put Usyk's constantly on his toes, moving, weaving, pouring that jab out, getting AJ where he wants him to be. Good exchange, left hand from Usyk and a body shot from AJ. A very tactical fight, like a chess match, which is where Joshua fell over in the first fight because he tried to fight Usyk's fight, and ended up didn't really do it. Tough to call it up. Very technical fight. Tough to call this round. For output alone, I gave it to Usyk. Nice right hands from AJ. Big left hand as well. But for work rate alone and the connecting blows, I'm sure I gave that to Usyk. I've got Usyk's round. So two rounds to Usyk, one to AJ. Round four, I put very much like a chess match. Big left hand rocks AJ's head back. AJ still not letting. For me, he wasn't letting that the big right hand go. He was very cautious with it. And I'm going to get to that after the fight actually, because it's something I want to speak about. But his balance was a lot better. Obviously, when you're fighting a southpaw, you're both sort of jabbing at each other with the same hand, sort of thing, which must be a bit confusing as well. But his balance was a lot better in this fight, I thought. Good right hand, right hook from Usyk, returned by AJ. Usyk had the better punches and work rate. I gave Usyk the round. Round five, for me, I was waiting for the fight to explode. It was all very cagey. No real hammer blows thrown at all. There was a low blow in there by AJ that sort of stopped Usyk in his tracks, just below the belt line on the hip bone. So I imagine that must have hurt a little bit. Big left by Usyk. Again, for me, there just wasn't quite enough from AJ, so I gave the round to Alexander Usyk. Round six, for me, Joshua just wasn't imposing himself enough. He's a big lad. I know Usyk's put on 10 ounces since the last fight, but he should be imposing himself more against this guy. I know the way that he moves around is extremely difficult to deal with, but there's just no sense that he was ever going to impose himself. AJ was pouring the jab out. There was a body shot from AJ, right hook from Usyk, and a straight right hand from AJ as well. I gave round six to Anthony Joshua. Round seven, Usyk's very good at stealing rounds. He does this thing where he makes people fight his fight and then teases them, and then sort of catches them as they come in. The upwards jab that he's got is quite incredible to watch, really. Big right hand from AJ as he came in. Big right hand from Usyk as AJ came in, caught him. No real pressure from AJ. Two big left hands from Usyk. Usyk's round for me. Round seven. Round eight, I've put so far best round. Nice popping jab from Usyk. Big body shots from AJ. Good work from both. Another big body shot. Nice combo from Usyk. That startled and stopped AJ in his tracks. Big right hand from Usyk and a big left hand from AJ. I gave round 8 to Anthony Joshua. He hit some really good body shots in that round. I thought he did very well. Round 9 for me is the best round that Anthony Joshua has had in the two fights. I thought he was on it. He caught Usyk, and it was the first time that it looked like he was actually going to go for it. I put AJ goes to the body again, more pressure from AJ, left right hooks from AJ, pours the pressure on. He really went for it. Big combinations. AJ's best round in the two fights. Clearly AJ's round, and at that point I think a lot of us were thinking, right, he's going to push on now. Unfortunately for him, Usyk had a stormer of a round in 10. Usyk came out quickly, throwing big shots, landing a bit. He landed a big left hand. It was a big round for Alexander Usyk. AJ was being caught clean. Big right hand. There was a big right hand in there from AJ. Usyk, which stopped Usyk in his tracks. Big uppercut from Usyk. Huge punches on land on AJ, and he was picking him apart in that round. AJ actually did very well to get through that round, I thought. Clearly, there's a trend going on for the next 3 rounds, because I think Usyk showed why he's a champion, because those last 3 rounds it was all fairly close, and he just stepped on the accelerator. Round 11, coming off the best 2 rounds of the probably best 3 rounds of the fight, to be fair, of all of the rounds of the two fights, 8, 9, and 10. Coming off the best 2 rounds of these two fights, both landing shots now. They're both going for it. Big right hook lands on AJ's chin. Usyk he just doesn't slow down. Good body shot from AJ. Stiff Usyk jab and left hand. Again, another Usyk round. And round 12, I put before it even started that AJ needed a knockout. He was too far behind to catch things up. 3-punch combo from Usyk. AJ looked knackered. Big left from AJ. And then Usyk started unloading, and towards the end of the round, last minute or so, he was just tagging AJ all over the place, and obviously won that round as well. What I was quite surprised about in the final round, and I know he's a big lad, and there was no, apart from round 9, there was no real sustained attack from Anthony Joshua through the fight. Round 9, I thought he did really well. He was all over Usyk. He was landing punches. He was landing body shots. He was landed a couple of big right hands as well, a couple of left hooks, and it was the best he's looked over those 2 fights. And it just wasn't enough. I scored the fight 116 Usyk, 112 AJ. And as I say, those, and I'll put the card here. But I do get, I don't know what the cards were, what they said of 115, 113. I can see that as well, to be fair. The scoring on those rounds is very, very difficult. It's very tight. In a few of those rounds, there's very little to pinch between them. But for me, over the 2 fights, Usyk has got AJ's number. I thought he did a lot better in this fight. It still wasn't a close fight by any stretch of the imagination, but he did better. He did things a lot better. I just wish he'd impose himself a little bit more. And I think that comes from, for me, since he lost to Andy Ruiz, I think he's become a bit gun shy. It's like he's tried to, obviously the second fight out in Jeddah, I think it was in Jeddah, I know it was in Saudi Arabia, when he went out and fought Andy Ruiz. He changed his whole game plan, obviously sort of frightened of what Andy Ruiz could do. So decided to develop himself more as a boxer. But fair play to him, he's decided to change his style up and sort of become a more than just that power, the one punch power punch. So since that fight, it's like it's almost damaged him mentally coming in, not wanting to engage too much in case he gets caught coming in. That's what I see. I don't know if you guys agree. If you agree, then put it in the comments box. If you disagree, put it in the comments box. It was a good fight. I didn't think it was a great fight. I thought it was a tactical, interesting fight that lacked drama for me, in all honesty, because for me I was waiting for it to explode. 9 and 10, where they both had really good rounds. I thought they were fantastic rounds for both of them, but I wanted to see more of that. Usyk's not that sort of fighter anyway. He will grind and grind and grind you down. AJ has that ability, and for me, for 2 fights, he hasn't done it apart from that 1 round. So yeah, congratulations to Alexander Usyk. I do hope that the money can be found for the Tyson Fury Usyk fight, because I think that'd be a great fight. For me, Tyson Fury wins it every day of the week. I think he's too big. I know Usyk's very clever. It'll be a very strange fight. It'll be a very tactical fight. But I think size wins it, because I think Tyson Fury will have the ability to use his size more than Anthony Joshua did. Again, if you let me know what you think in the comments about that. And then we come to the stuff after the fight. Oh, Anthony Joshua going forward. I don't know. I think I've been very critical of Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder smokes AJ inside 5 rounds. For me, I don't think that Joshua stands a chance. And then what have you got left? Another fight with Dillian White, maybe. Maybe another fight with the winner of Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. I don't know. I don't know what's left on the table for AJ. I don't think would Fury fight him now? I don't think he would. There's nothing in it for him apart from winning that fight. There's nothing on the table. There's no got to be that much money on the table that would have been there. So I think that's probably a fight that's dead in the water. I don't know what comes next for Anthony Joshua. Again, if you want to put your comments in the comments box, then let me know. What happened after the fight?
It was a lot better, but Usyk was better too. He's angry here, Anthony Joshua. Wenger just trying to calm him down. Derek Chisora in there as well, not quite sure what's going on, but he's left the ring, AJ. He was annoyed about something, but it seemed so respectful afterwards. He put in an absolutely cracking display tonight, Anthony Joshua, but he is annoyed, he's upset. And they just need to calm him down here, because after Tottenham, Matt, he wouldn't have slept well. He can sleep well tonight. That was a really gritty and brilliant effort.
Yeah, he could be proud of his performance. He couldn't have put any more into that. I don't know what's gone on there. I don't know what's been said.
He's coming back into the ring, Anthony Joshua. He took hold of 2 of the belts, the Ring Magazine and the WBA Super, I think. What's he doing here?
I don't care about strong, I have that skill. I'm talking. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys. Look, if you knew my story, you would understand the passion. I ain't no amateur boxer from 5 years old that was an elite prospect from a youth, bro. I was going to jail. I see some hype little youths in Reading jail. I got bail and I started training my ass off. Because if I got sentenced, I wanted to be able to fight. I bust my case. My cousin Benga, where's he at? G14, raise your hand. I'm stealing this, Usyk, sorry. But it's because the passion we put into this man. Guys, I'm telling you, this guy, to be me, tonight, maybe I could have done better, but it shows the levels of hard work he must have put in. So please, give him a round of applause as our heavyweight champion of the world. Woo! I'm not a 12-round fighter. Look at me. I'm a new breed of heavyweights. All them heavyweights, Mike Tyson, Sonny Liston, Jack Dempsey. Oh, yeah, you don't throw combinations like Rocky Marciano. Because I ain't 14 stone, that's why. I'm 18 stone, I'm heavy. It's hard work. This guy here is a phenomenal talent. We're going to cheer for him 3 times. Well, how many belts you got now, bro? 5. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. And as I said, I was studying Ukraine and all the champions that have come from your amazing country, but I've never been there. But at the same time, what's happening there is, I don't know what's happening, but it's not nice at the end of the day. I've seen it with Lomachenko in his second fight against Orlando. There was unrest in Ukraine, right or wrong. There was issues in Ukraine in your second fight. There was civil war. Vitaly Klitschko, when he faced Danny Williams, civil unrest. Usyk as a champion, please raise your hand. Under them circumstances, he managed to become champion. Champ, champ! Champ, champ! Champ, champ! And I just want to say, Bismillah.
Obviously, he was passionate. What I've never liked about Anthony Joshua is he's almost become a marketing machine. So all the stuff that goes on outside the ring, and this is not me trying to, in my opinion, he's become a marketing machine, and he doesn't in his interviews and that there's not been that passion anymore. There's no passion in his interviews. You don't get a sense of who he is. He sits there with those fucking headphones on, and it's like he's blanking everything out, and it's just a promotion game. It was nice to see him show some passion, but I think he did it in the wrong way. He took all of the spotlight away from the champion. Got very angry at the end of it. I'll show the clip. Got very angry for whatever reason. I don't know if he was angry with the result, with his own performance, something that triggered him in the ring. I don't know. But to hold two belts up that he obviously covets, because that's why he's fighting, and then to just chuck him out the ring, I thought was disgraceful, and very I just thought it was a disgraceful act. I mean, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing to do. I think one was the Ring magazine belt and the WBA belt. I don't get it. I don't get. And then to go back into the ring again. So he's gone to go out. He comes back in, and takes all the spotlight from the new champion. I've just seen a comment from a friend of mine, actually, Jonathan Brown, calling him the most selfish twat of the year. And I get he showed passion. The comments about not getting what's going on in the Ukraine, I thought was unneeded. And I just thought I think his team should have pulled him out of there. They should have pulled him out of there and just let him go back and lick his wounds within the confines of the dressing room. And then obviously he had his press conference afterwards and broke down. And do you know what? Fair play. You know what? It's nice to see he's got some emotion. And obviously he said he's not an amateur. Well, he won an Olympic medal, so he was an amateur. He's not a 12-round fighter. I agree with that, actually. Although he's gone a couple of 12-round, a few 12-rounders now. Joseph Parker, obviously these two with Usyk. I just thought that it was a not becoming of a champion. I think to take all of the glory. I know he held Usyk's hand up. I just thought it was almost spotlight stealing, which I didn't really agree with. I think there were other ways that he could have vented his frustration, and sadly it marred. I've never been a massive Anthony Joshua fan. I respect that he's been the heavyweight champion. I respect him as a fighter. I respect that he fights the way he does. I've loved it when he's thrown big hands. I've always thought there's a vulnerability within him, which probably what makes him quite exciting to watch sometimes. But yeah, since the Ruiz first fight, I think he's lost that aura of just his whole aura now, and where he goes from there, I don't know. But yeah, what he did after that fight, I just don't think there's any need for that. And you know what? I saw the Matthew Macklin clip afterwards, and I agree with him. He should have been pulled out. He should have been pulled out of the ring and stopped for his own good, because there'll be some sort of backlash from that. I'm not trying to shit on his parade. He fought a fight. I don't think he fought the best fight he could have done. He was better than the first one, but yeah. All in all, where does he go from there? I don't know. And probably at this moment, he doesn't know either. Did I enjoy the fight? Yes, I did. I'm glad I didn't pay £27 for it, because I would have been mighty pissed off, I think. there's been better fights. I'm actually really looking forward to the Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. fight in October. I think that's going to be an absolute cracker. So I'll be doing a live watch along of that. I think that'd be really, really good. Let me know what your comments are. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, say I scored it 116, 112 for AJ. I thought for Usyk, I do apologise. I just thought he was a better fighter. AJ did a bit more. And let me know your thoughts on what happened afterwards, because I thought that was I thought it was shameful, really. Anybody that knows wrestling, and I know it's a completely different sort of kettle of fish, but it reminded me of the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior thing back in the day, where Warrior won the title at WrestleMania 6 and Hogan stole all the spotlight. And for me, that's exactly what Anthony Joshua did last night, which really isn't becoming of a champion, in my opinion. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Something slightly different, slightly more serious. I love boxing. Always have done. I used to watch before my mum was a bit selfish and died. Me and my mum used to watch boxing back in the day. Barry McGuigan, Lloyd Honeyghan, Errol Bomber Graham, Frank Bruno, all those sort of people. And so I've always loved boxing, and maybe do a bit more boxing on the channel. So if you enjoyed the video, then give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, give it a thumbs down. Leave your comments in your comments box below. There's a subscribe button if you like the channel and you're new here and you like a fat idiot talking bollocks, then I'm your man. Have a great day. Me and Wanda will be back soon. And yeah, have a great week. See you soon.